Hi everybody, welcome to Bike Tour. We are here with John Baldwin of Gorham Bike and Ski, and he is going to give us a tour of a bike that he has brought down to us today. How are you, John?
Hey, Fred.
Good to see you again. Thanks for coming down.
Thanks. Thanks for having me back.
Absolutely. You've got an impressive bike here today.
Oh, thank you.
Tell us about it.
I brought with me today a 2016 Pivot Mach 429 Trail.
Nice.
Yeah.
And trail, does that mean it's only for the trails, or can it be used
It's a
for the
really balanced
road?
bike. Yeah, really balanced bike. It's good for cross-country, trail, even could potentially be more of an enduro bike as well.
Wow. And what's going on with this frame set? What should we know?
Well, it's a full carbon bike. So not only is the front triangle carbon, which is true of a lot of carbon full suspension bikes, but the rear triangle is all one beautifully made piece of carbon. That's Boost 148. And yeah, it's just really light, makes for an incredibly light bike.
Sweet. And how does it join, how does the rear triangle join to the front triangle?
It actually uses their DW link, so named by Dave Weigel, who was the innovator behind it. Yeah, it's a split pivot design. These really short linkages, which are kind of in place with sealed bearings. Those are, built with the intention of, less weakening over time, really light service life, so you can run them for a long time with almost no service.
So that means that the whole frame is sort of moving, has its own independent functionality. Does that make it more comfortable to ride? You know?
Sure, yeah, it makes it more comfortable to ride. That's one aspect of it, as well as there's better compliance for the terrain. So you're always going to have a wheel in contact unless you don't want to.
Right.
And you're always going to be, yeah, exactly. If the handling's going to be a lot better. The way that the bike deals with square kind of bumps in the trail is going to be a lot better than a hardtail. Yeah, roots especially, you got it. Yeah.
Right. Well, what about the suspension? Let's talk about the suspension. You got one in the front and in the center, I guess.
Yes, yeah, it's a full suspension bike. These are both Fox shocks. In the rear you have 116 millimeters of travel. And that's got a variable dampener that you can use, or dampening that you can use. Auto-sag feature that's kind of designed to be used mid-travel. So you have minimal pedal bob, and you have minimal kind of brake jack going on, and the most pedaling efficiency you can. Right. It's a really good blend.
Fast, wheel always on the ground. And sure. Same here, we've got a lot of travel.
Yeah, comparatively, it's a 110 millimeter travel fork. Which, actually when you take it out to the trail could feel much more, just because of how the suspension design is utilized by Pivot. It's a 34 mil stanchion, and you have your climb, trail, and descend functions that you would with your rear shock. Wow. And also through axle, front and rear.
Right. So very, very, very stiff. What about the wheels? I mean, these are 29-inch wheels. That's standard for a traditional road bike. I mean, how does that help?
And that's typically been on more cross-country bikes, but with this bike, it's able to maintain more of a trail bike feel while still having the efficiency of a cross-country bike and the rollover ability that you get with a 29-inch wheel.
That's right.
These are tubeless-ready tires that come standard, and tubeless-ready rims on all of their bikes that are pre-taped in the factory, which is awesome. And typically about like this kind of wheel is, I mentioned earlier, the Boost 148. It's going on in the front as well with their 110 mil spacing, which increases the spoke bracing angle. The old kind of argument against 29-inch wheels is that they were too flexy. So by increasing the spacing, it makes for a much stronger wheel, both front and rear.
So you have a very, very stiff wheels, a lot of suspension, a lot of flexibility, so this is a comfortable bike. What about the dropper function? This will be the last thing we have time to talk about. What's going on with that?
So the dropper post that you're going to find on more and more bikes, it's a mechanically actuated kind of elevator, if you will, for your seat. So you can get your seat down and out of the way when you're over technical terrain. You can get way behind the bike very easily. And when you want to, when your pedaling efficiency needs to come back, you can put the post back up, and
there it is. Off you go.
Right when you need it.
Well, that's great stuff, John. Where can we take a look at this bike?
Gorham Bike and Ski at 693 Congress Street in Portland.
Wow.
And I'm there most days.
Right on. Well, that's great, John. Well,
cool.
We'll take a look and do a test ride, but we know what that'll lead to.
Yeah, more bikes.
Exactly. Well, thanks, everybody. That's all the time we have for the bike tour. You can learn more about the bike at Gorham Bike and Ski, and you can check it out on gorhambikeandski.com. Thanks very much. We'll see you next time.